Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with an article from RT.com titled, "It's Like a Graveyard. Videos Show Mass Death of Sea Life at Far East Russian Tourist Hotspot. Surfers Complain of Toxic Burns." And this is just another indicator to let us know what times we're living in, the last seconds of these last days, and that this earth is in dire need of new management because the current rulers, you Edomites or so-called white people, are doing a detrimental and deadly job. This is Isaiah chapter 24. I'm going to start at verse 4. "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish." We get that word languisheth in the Strongs. It's Strong's H535.
Strong's H535. Amal. Cassadius Lexicon.
Amal. To be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted, to be or grow feeble, to languish. And as we'll see from the information in that article, the earth and the things that are in it are definitely being made weak and languishing. And again, it's because of the rulership of you Edomites. Ever since you came into this little season of your final rulership, beginning with the Renaissance, you've turned most of this planet into a giant trash can and turned everything upside down. You spray chemtrails into the sky. You pour pollutions into the ocean, which causes marine life like whales to beach themselves and sea life to wash up dead on the shores of these beaches. You strip mine the lands for their resources. You hunt animals to extinction. You give people GMO foods to eat, which give them cancer. All this cell phone and Wi-Fi radiation further gives people cancer. You push these destructive ideologies onto the people, such as democracy or that rule of the demon, socialism, capitalism, communism, the LGBTQ agenda, etc., etc. If you Edomites were allowed to rule indefinitely, this entire world would become a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland, which all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi that we're at the end of your rulership. Matthew 24, verse 22, "And except those days should be shortened," the days we're living in right now, the last seconds of these last days, the last seconds of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly you Edomites, "there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Again, if the Most High didn't set bounds for you Edomites which you couldn't pass, no flesh would be saved. Back in Isaiah 24, I'm going to read verse 5. "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, chiefly you Edomites." And these other heathen nations aren't doing a good job either, because as it says in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha chapter 10, "As the ruler is, so are the people." So since you Edomites are the ones that are in rulership right now, these heathen nations are following after you and pushing a lot of the same detrimental policies and actions that you push, further exacerbating the problems, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And like I said earlier, everything you Edomites have done ever since you came into this little season of your final rulership have been detrimental, and it made the world a much worse place. But when the Israelites come back into power, the true Israelites being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're going to rule in the kingdom of heaven for eternity, and we're going to rule everything by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahawashi, and the whole earth is going to rejoice, and it's going to go back to being like the Garden of Eden. Now let's get back into that article to see how the earth is languishing and defiled under the haughty inhabitants thereof. Hordes of sea creatures have washed up at a popular tourist beach in Kamchatka, after surfers complained about suffering from eye burns, a probe has been launched as tests show increased levels of petroleum products in the water. How do you think they got there? They didn't get there by Magilla Gorilla. They got there by you Edomites and these heathen nations following after you Edomites, treating this planet as your own personal trash can. Kamchatka is a large peninsula in Russia's far east, which juts out into the Pacific Ocean on the Sea of Okhotsk. The first signs that something was wrong at the picturesque Kalaktir Beach, a popular tourist and surfing spot, became apparent when people started to develop symptoms after taking a dive in the ocean. For weeks now, all surfers have been experiencing eye problems after coming back from the water. Yekaterina Daiba, an administrator at a local surf school, wrote on social media on Thursday. She added that the swimmers felt a decrease in vision, as well as fever, nausea, and a sore throat. Many shared personal stories. I had the same problems with my eyes. Yesterday, I was diagnosed with a first-degree corneal burn. Eye drops and ointments were prescribed, and I felt better afterwards, one local wrote online. 2 days later, shocked beachgoers discovered that scores of octopuses, crabs, starfish, sponges, sea urchins, and other marine animals had washed up ashore. It's like a graveyard here, one person was heard saying as he filmed thick layers of carcasses covering the sand. And this is very sickening to watch. Eco disaster, mass death of sea animals, toxic smell, and yellow waters. The whole earth languisheth and fadeth away, because the inhabitants of the earth have transgressed the laws, broken the ordinances, and gone against the everlasting covenant. Greenpeace declared the situation an environmental disaster. Meanwhile, authorities determined that the concentration of petroleum products in the water was 3.6 times higher than normal, and the amount of phenol was 2.5 times greater. Top regional environmental official Alexei Kermovkov told the media that the cause of the mass death of animals is yet to be determined, whether pollution is to blame and not just a powerful storm. There's another video.
Ребят, тут просто вообще все завалено морской живностью. Я не знаю, там на дне что-нибудь выжило вообще, нет?
It's like a damn ecocide.
Даже крабы есть. Вон, все мидиями завалено, ежиками. Кладбище какое-то. Вон, краб лежит. Ребят, тут просто вообще...
That's it with this article. Now I'm going to go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 3. Therefore shall the land mourn, the earth fadeth away and languisheth, and is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. And I've done videos in the past showing how you've got a lot of birds just dropping dead out of the sky. Yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. And what do we just see from that article? The fishes of the sea shall be taken away. And everything on this planet is groaning in their spirit for the Israelites to return to power and put everything back in order. This is Romans chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 22. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Sea life dying off, birds falling off dead out of the sky, the lands getting strip mined for their resources, people bugging out and turning to alcohol and drugs in record numbers and contemplating suicide, ecological disasters, etc., etc. Let me jump up to verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God, the return of the children of Israel to their rightful place as the rightful rulers of this planet, ruling by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And like I said earlier, once that happens, everything's going to go back to being how it was always meant to be, and the earth's going to be like the Garden of Eden again. Close it out in Psalms 96, verse 10 to 13. Say among the heathen that Yahweh reigneth, which is what the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, are doing by going out onto the highways and byways to preach this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, telling you that when the manifestation of the sons of God happens, then the earth's going to go back to its former estate as that perfection of beauty, the Garden of Eden. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved, by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. He shall judge the people righteously through his chosen people, through the Israelites, beginning with Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, then King David underneath, who's coming back, then the rest of the 12 apostles, because if you can receive it, David was Peter in the reincarnation. Then underneath the rest of the 12 apostles, the rest of the 144,000 as the governing body. Then underneath the rest of the 144,000, then the rest of the righteous 1/3, and underneath them, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, who were put to death on this side for their wickedness, but are going to be reborn righteous into the kingdom of heaven through the loins of the elect. Hey, all the Israelites are going to be teaching you heathens how to live the right way. Verse 11, let the heavens rejoice. And that's talking about the first and the second heaven, because there are 3 heavens according to the scriptures. The first heaven, which is the regular sky, the second heaven, which is space, and the third heaven, which is the spirit realm where the Most High dwells. When the sons of God, the children of Israel, are back in power, there's going to be no more chemtrails or other pollutants in the first heaven, and there's going to be no more space junk in the second heaven. And let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar and the fullness thereof. Sea life's no longer going to beach itself due to all the pollution in the ocean or die in mass numbers and wash up on these shores. Let the field be joyful and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the wood rejoice. Hey, these lands are no longer going to get strip mined for their resources, and these animals aren't going to be hunted to extinction before Yahweh. For he cometh to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness and the people with his truth. That's it with this video, and I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly of Esau, Edoms. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.